Good morning, everyone. Today is Thursday. Long ass week, man. Thursday, January 29th. And today is the second episode of the Orange series. What the hell is the Orange series? Um, what we do is we talk pretty much about Bitcoin, right? And the various Bitcoin treasury companies, some of the investments that I do, and then, some fun facts and this, that, and the other thing. Today's episode, I decided to dig deep into the Bitcoin history from the very beginning, and I pulled out some fun information to go through. So hopefully you guys enjoy the show. All right. We are live, as you know. So good morning to everyone here. Sergio was first, A1 second. So congrats on that. Double D is here. Good morning. Probably driving to work. What's going on? Alan, how you doing? No, how you doing? All right, brothers here. And yeah, so I assume for the people that are here, well, they either support my channel or they believe in the orange, right? The orange, the Bitcoin, the long-term investment Bitcoin, and hopefully they can, change their family tree, change their lifestyle essentially by becoming crypto rich, we'll say, or Bitcoin rich, right? Because really, the question is to the live audience: is there really any other crypto besides Bitcoin? Is everyone else just a shit coin? Really, that is the question. Um, Let me know, and we'll pull up the feedback. But in the meantime, let's take a look at the Coin Market Cap website. That's what I've been using to track the price and the circulating supply, just to see what's going on. Over the past 24 hours, obviously you could see that we're kind of down. But yeah, man, why are we down? I don't know. I kind of woke up late myself and haven't even pulled up my brokerage, to be honest. So I hope my brokerage isn't down. But hey, it's been down all week. So usually I'm not expecting anything insane here. But let's move on. So again, Bitcoin is at 87,810. Let's hope it does better because it's not too pretty. All right. We talked about last week my first Bitcoin purchase. I was able to pull it up if you guys do care. Let me get the zoom. What do we want? We want 200% today. So you could see I did buy 0.001 Bitcoin, which was 2312, right? That was the total expense back then. The price of Bitcoin was 17,034.72. The fee was $1.49. This was through Coinbase. And the date was December 7th, 2017. And again, yes, there was many buys after that. I was just buying, based on nothing, essentially. I didn't know anything about it, but I was a degenerate who wanted to get rich and didn't know what I was doing, and eventually lost it to a stupid Ponzi scheme. So that's my history. Until, of course, either last year or the year before that, I basically finally bought into it as like a long-term play, because for many years after I lost, my Bitcoin through this stupid Ponzi scheme, I was just salty about it, and I thought I was too late. And I'm like, I'm not going to get rich on Bitcoin. Let me just buy shit coins and we'll try that. And I was doing that for a while. And needless to say, what a waste of time that was. So I went back to the drawing board and said, okay, let's look at Bitcoin. And I finally, again, became a believer long term. So all I did, I set up auto buys. I set up an account for Bitcoin through Robinhood because I closed my Robinhood at that time. So I reopened a Robinhood specifically for crypto, and I do daily buys on Bitcoin there. And that's where I store my Bitcoin. That's where it's held, and all the other funds that we'll get to. So that was a quick history of for me. Now we'll get to the history of Bitcoin. All right. So what zoom should we do on this? I guess 200% is enough, right? So if I look here, let's go back. By the way, the source, we got to give credit to the source, Wikipedia. All right. History of Bitcoin wiki, right? Whatever. So in 1992, um, there were, again, bear with me here. I thought these were important items here. There were a number of digital cash technologies, starting with the issue-based eCash protocol of David Chaum and Stefan Brands. The idea that solutions to computational puzzles could have some value was first proposed by cryptographers Cynthia Dwork and Mani. Again, what is the point of this? I guess they started the conversation of digital cash essentially. All right. And then in 1996, the NSA published the white paper, How to Make a Mint, the Cryptography of Anonymous Electronic Cash. So again, kind of opening the book for this here. So moving on, 1997, the idea was independently rediscovered by Adam Back, who developed Hashcash, a proof of work scheme for spam control. Okay, Hashcash. You ever hear of Hashcash? And then in 2008, many years later, right, because then that was 97, the domain name bitcoin.org was registered. And in 2009, the Bitcoin network came into existence with Satoshi Nakamoto mining the Genesis block of Bitcoin, block number 0, which had a reward of 50 Bitcoins. Okay, moving on. Right here, we have a notable for each year going forward. And also to the right, let me shrink the year. To the right, I do have the closing price of Bitcoin. The years of 2009, 2010, I couldn't really get an accurate number for the end of year price. But for now, I just put 10 cents for both of them. But obviously, yeah, it went even further, right? It was a fraction of a penny. But if I do get that, I'll plug it in. All right. So in 2010, the first notable retail transaction involving physical goods was paid on May 22nd, 2010, by exchanging 10,000. Everyone's heard this story. 10,000 mined Bitcoin for 2 pizzas delivered from a Papa John's in Jacksonville, Florida. Laszlo Hines, who lives in Jacksonville, created a thread in an online forum offering the Bitcoins for anyone who could order him 2 pizzas. So obviously someone did it, and they made 10,000 Bitcoin in the process. Okay. So 10,000 Bitcoin at that time, obviously, not worth too much money. Today, yeah, I know. I'm sure it hurts that for that person, but it is what it is, man. All right, moving along here. In 2011, so that we had the closing price 10 cents there too. In 2011, based on Bitcoin's open source code, other cryptocurrencies. You know what I should do? I should have done this in the beginning, right? I should have went like this and went like this, right? Boom. There you go. That's better. Based on Bitcoin's open source code, other cryptocurrencies started to emerge. All right. Again, the shitcoins, right? Because there's Bitcoin, and then there's Ethereum, and then there's, if there's anyone else, maybe Ethereum, I don't know. You guys let me know. But I only invest in Bitcoin as far as cryptocurrency is concerned. And you can see the close price that year in 2011, $4.72, which from 10 cents was about 4,620% gain. All right. Let's move on now to 2012. Oh, I should black out the, whatever. I'm not blacking out the price. Too much work. All right, let's go on to 2012. BitPay reported having over 1,000 merchants accepting Bitcoin under its payment processing service. 50, I guess I should have deleted this. The 58 reference. In November 2012, WordPress starting accepting Bitcoins. So again, WordPress was like an app that people used. So people are starting to use it, accept it, which, it's good, right? It's obviously getting acknowledgement from being nothing, a 10-cent thing where freaking a pizza boy accepts money. But anyway, 1350 was the closing price in 2012. In 2012, like I said, I'm half awake still. Let me take a sip of my coffee after that. So needless to say, like we said, it went up again, 186%. Not that big jump you got before, but still, it went up. It's going up gradually. All right, now let's get to 2013. Let's see what we got here. The exchange, here we go. The big boy, Coinbase, but back then they weren't that big, reported selling 1 million worth of Bitcoin in a single month at over $22 per Bitcoin. So, I mean, again, it's insane. Were you part of that 1 million in 2013? To get in 2013 and hold until now? Could you imagine? Like, who? That's balls of steel too, man. If you can hold through all of those ups, all of those downs, that's a true diamond hands right there. That's a true Bitcoiner, right? I would not have. I would have sold it the second I made money. And I'm not gonna lie, there's no way I would have made it this long. So I'm not gonna. That's why I can't get mad. Yeah, even though I bought it way back when, I would have sold it. I would have taken that freaking profit because it wasn't. I didn't have the same mentality that I have today, which is why they always say you get Bitcoin at the price you deserve. Anyway, for that year, the closing price was $750. All right, now it's growing. Now it's getting expensive. One Bitcoin, not cheap anymore. And that is a 5,456% increase. Okay, let's move on to 2014. All right, here we go. By the way, if you guys have any questions, let me know. I know we are live. So good morning to everyone who has joined since. Sunita, I see you. Eugen, welcome. Parabolic. DPC Dad sighting, good to see you. What's going on? All right, Zynga. Zynga announced in 2014 it was testing Bitcoin for purchasing in-game assets in 7 of its games. Remember Zynga, the freaking games on the phone? That same month, the Las Vegas Casino, the Las Vegas Casino, and Golden Gate Hotel Casino properties in downtown Las Vegas announced they would also begin accepting Bitcoin. I mean, how? I don't know. But again, I guess they're just trying to be a part of it, right? Are they still accepting it? Who the hell knows? But regardless, that's news that people are accepting it to purchase things. But that didn't help the price. The price closed at $320 at the end of 2014. Again, based on what I looked up. If you guys disagree with these numbers, feel free to let me know. And that's a 57% decline. I believe that was, the first decline since the beginning, essentially. All right, let's move on to 2015. Okay, Coinbase raised $75 million as part of a Series C funding round, smashing the previous record for a Bitcoin company. So again, price went up gradually, 34%. That's casual, nothing impressive there. Just a normal year. Okay, we can handle that. Let's move on to 2016. We're getting closer to current date. A major Bitcoin exchange, Finex, was hacked. Oh boy. And nearly 120,000 Bitcoin, around $60 million at the time, was stolen. So that's messed up. What happened with those Bitcoin? I do not know. They always say there's a lot of Bitcoin that has been lost. It's buried in some, waste yard, right? Somewhere too. I don't know. But whatever. This is a big thing. And when people see this, and they own Bitcoin, they're going to think they're going to get hacked too. So this probably scared a lot of people. However, we did close the year up 125%. The closing price was $966. All right, now we get to 2017. This is where I made my first purchase in 2017. Bitcoin gains more legitimacy among lawmakers. I mean, do they really and they're still fighting about it, right? And legacy finance companies. For example, Japan passed a law to accept Bitcoin as a legal payment method. But, Japan's not as friendly with it, though, I don't think anymore, which is why they have Metaplanet. But again, I don't know, this is, again, based what happened in 2017. But look at this, man. This is what I want to show you. The closing price in 2017 jumped to 14,156. I mean, That's a 1,365%. A lot of these years, it's life-changing money depending on how much you invested. So that's really good, man. All right, let's move on to 2018. Again, we're getting close to current. It's hard to imagine that we're in 2020 freaking 6 already. We are getting old. All right, 2018, South Korea. Again, I can't talk this morning. South Korea brought in a regulation that requires all the Bitcoin traders to reveal their identity. Okay. You know, again, that's normal now, but that would happen in South Korea. The United States Department of Justice investigated Bitcoin traders for possible price manipulation. I mean, they should do that now, right? The online payment firm Stripe announced that it would phase out its support for Bitcoin payments. So here we go, negativity, some negative stuff. Oh no, we dropped in price. We dropped 74% to 3,693. Which again, it's unusual to have a year where it goes down, but we did some negativity in the air. All right, let's move on to 2019. How you doing? 2019, the dawn of 2019 found Bitcoin trading below the 4,000. No notable news. This is all I found. So, you know, obviously it ended up 95% at 7,195. Sorry, I didn't have any exciting news in 2019. I should have probably looked something up. You know what? Let me do that right now because I was rushing things yesterday. And let's see, 2019 Bitcoin news. Yeah, they mentioned price again. That's not a. There you go. China. See, it's never too late to make adjustments because that's not really a news thing right there. I did. All right. How's that? Is that better? So Bitcoin experienced a significant surge, 12% one day after Chinese President Xi Jinping embraced blockchain technology. All right, that's better. All right, now let's get to 2020. PayPal announced that it would allow its users to buy and sell Bitcoin on its platform. So that's big because, you know, PayPal is big. Back then, PayPal was it, man. You like when you use eBay, you know, you do everything on PayPal, right? I think they eventually bought PayPal and then they didn't. I don't know what happened, but PayPal was gigantic. So that was big news, although not to deposit or withdraw Bitcoin. So you can buy and sell Bitcoin, but you can't deposit Bitcoin or withdraw Bitcoin. So you can't really send it or receive it, but you can, I'm sure, convert the Bitcoin into cash and then send and receive the cash, if that makes sense. Closing price for that year in 2020, $29,000. That was a 303% increase. Not bad at all. Not bad day in the office right there. All right, moving along to 2021, Elon Musk placed the handle #Bitcoin in his Twitter profile. I mean, you all know what that does. If Bitcoin says something, something happens. Remember Doge? Oh yeah. But yeah, he mentioned Bitcoin and boom, I'm sure it flew up. But we ended up closing at a price of 46,200. That's a 59% gain for the year. Moving along to 2022. Again, we are getting to, you know, closer to the current data. Following a vote by Wikipedia editors the previous month, the Wikimedia Foundation announced it would stop accepting donations in Bitcoin or other cryptocurrencies 8 years after it had first started taking contributions. So 8 years ago, they were accepting Bitcoin donations. And then in 2022, we're going backwards here. We're not accepting Bitcoin. So again, this is not good news. This is just a negative reaction to it for whatever reason, right? Because there was good news and there was bad news. So it's been up and down all around. But anyway, we closed out the year at 16.5. That's a 64% decline. And that's for 2022. All right, moving along. Yeah, there's nothing here, so I don't want to get you guys too excited. So for 2023, let's see what we got here. NFTs were born. NFTs on Bitcoin, at least, went live in 2023. I don't know if you know what NFTs are. They're essentially I don't know, I just call it like, it's like an electronic picture. It's pretty stupid, to be honest, but people make money off of them. I still own some. I don't even know where the hell they're at in one of my wallets, but every time I look, they weren't worth a damn. So it just, again, when the first ones were like kind of born and built out, they did well. Like people made money, and I don't know. They are what they are. But we are who they thought they were. All right. Anyway, 42,000 was the closing price of Bitcoin in 23, and that was a 155% gain there. Moving along to 24. All right, we're getting close to current data, current information here. The approval, oh, this was a big one. I'm sure all of you remember this. The approval of Bitcoin holding ETFs. All right, IBIT, the Fidelity one, what the hell is it? YBTC, those, there was like 7 maybe of them. I forget how many, but that was gigantic because now the large financial institutions, the huge brokerages, they want a piece of the action. And with them getting involved in creating an ETF, it allows now the regular public who does not trust Coinbase, they don't trust Robinhood, or maybe some of these other, even though Robinhood's a brokerage, right? A lot of people, they only trust like the Vanguards, the Fidelities. So the fact that they would come out and offer now an ETF that follows Bitcoin, again, that was gigantic news. So in order to create an ETF, again, they have to be purchasing the Bitcoin. I believe they use Coinbase. I don't know if they still do, but that was huge, right? Huge. And you could see, even at that point, as expensive as it was, it did jump 122% that year. So that would have been a really, really good year, because if you got in Bitcoin at 42,000 and, sitting at the price today, you're like, all right, this is nothing. This is fine. We could wait it out. But yeah, so that was in 24. And then last year in 2025, again, because when I'm recording this video, today is Thursday, January 29th, 2026. The U.S. government's push for a strategic Bitcoin reserve happened. Again, they're still doing that, but they're still pushing for it. But the fact that it's acknowledged, there's an administration that believes in it, wants a piece of it. As far as I know, they only have it through what they stole from the criminals. I don't know. That is their current Bitcoin reserve, but they're acknowledging that they want it to be, instead of their ugly whatever treasuries or whatnot, they want to make a strategic Bitcoin reserve. So when the U.S. government gets involved, others will follow. That is for damn sure. So this should have been huge news. But for the year, we had a bad year for Bitcoin last year. And we all know it because we were tracking it daily, right? We went down 6% from the year prior. But I mean, if you think about it, it's really not that bad. It felt like more, right? And we did hit the high 70s, right? But we ended up at 87,000, which is a negative 6%. Now, if we look at 26, I put something here. All right. Obviously, we're only 29 days in, but I put something fun for 2026. The Motley Fool and Forbes, but what the hell do they know about Bitcoin? I don't know, maybe more than us, but they suggest Bitcoin could hit 150 to 250,000 by end of 26. So if it hits 250,000, that would be a 186% gain. So I'm pretty sure we would all appreciate this, But again, you see people make predictions all the time and they're way off. Oh, Bitcoin go up. My prediction, 100, 150, and then Bitcoin didn't go up, right? It went down. So again, we can't rely on these freaking people and their predictions. We just gotta trust in the long term, you know, things will go up. So I didn't average it out, but I probably should. So did we? Let's just start here, and we'll do like, what's the average? Let's put it right here. What is the average that Bitcoin has gone up on an annualized basis, right? So you type in equals average, and then you do open parentheses, and then, you know, you highlight whatever, and you bring it up to where we want to begin, which is the 4,620%. And you get an average annual upside. Again, this was like mostly in the beginning, so we're not going to get the huge, you know, upsides going forward, but it's just, you know, something to look at. All right. But yeah, so that's the history. Let me check some comments. Let me know what you guys think of that. Did you guys know most of that? Was any of that helpful? Please let me know in the comments down below. Good morning to Bruce, Randy Savage, brother. All right. It's been tempting to buy MSTU, says Eugen. I mean, I don't know, man. I'm so done with these MSTR products. I buy MSTR, but, you know, it's in small drips and drags, which we'll get into in a second. Is everyone selling covered calls in TSLL today? I'm ready to make some money. Well, I'm not, because I sold an at-the-money put, which is, you know, obviously it's going to probably expire worthless, but we'll see how that goes. You'll own nothing and be happy about it. It's a binary digital exchange, just ones and zeros. Yeah, it's just a bunch of numbers for the most part, but if it goes up in value, hey, it's my cup of tea. iBit uses Coinbase for custodian Fidelity custodies. Oh, okay, good to know. Thank you for that info. Double D starting his work day. I guess I gotta make my videos at 5:30 so Double D can make the whole video. All right. Anyway, safe travel. I think he is already at work. I think he listens to me on the way to work. I'm his commute, kill time commute, but hopefully I don't put him to sleep sometimes, right? All right. Anyway, so that's the episode today was about Bitcoin history, but I'm going to go through the other information that we had and update it on a weekly basis from what we had last time. So you may recall what I did is I downloaded the top 20 Bitcoin treasury companies, and I decided to compare how much Bitcoin they owned from, say, last week, January 22nd, to now. Okay, now we're a week past that. So let's see. And let's see if the rankings changed, right? So if you look here, I probably got to zoom out so we can see properly. You can see strategies number one. I mean, nobody's catching them. Let's be real. So they're still number one, and they bought an additional Bitcoin amount of 2,932. Mara, number two, no change in Bitcoin. 21 Capital, number three, no change in Bitcoin. Come on, bro, buy some Bitcoin, bro. Metaplanet, number four, Bitcoin Standard Treasury Company. Number five. I mean, should we research these? At later episodes, we may. Let me just say that. But let me know if that interests you, or if you're even like, do you invest? Like, some people invest in Mara, I know that, and Riot, of course. Coinbase is number 8. People invest in Coinbase, of course. Number 9 is Hut 8 Mining Corp. I always think of Pizza Hut, you know. But anyway, Strive is number 10. But guess what? They were number 11 last week, so they have passed CleanSpark. Why? Well, they bought 334 additional Bitcoin. Strive is ASST, ticker ASST, in case you're wondering. So yeah, there was a change in order in the top 20. Trump Media remains at number 12. Tesla's at 13. They just had earnings yesterday, and I believe they are up in the pre-market. Oh, all the indexes are up. There's a positive sign. Yeah, Tesla's up 2.81% in the pre-market. Nothing crazy, but still, up is good, right? Anyway, Block Inc., yeah, they're number 14. Kango, I got to be honest, I don't know where the hell they are, but they added 116 Bitcoin, so good for them. GD Culture Group, I don't know who they are either. But again, we're going to get to know these companies. Galaxy Digital Holdings, yeah, number 17. American Bitcoin Corp. So here we go. Again, I highlight any changes. So American Bitcoin Corp was 19 last week. They moved up to 18 because they did purchase an additional, no, where is it? 416 Bitcoin. So they have passed Next Technology. And then number 20 actually changed. Last week it was Kindly MD, but Nakamoto Inc. Never heard of that company. It's an American company, by the way. Most of these are American companies, except Next Technology, of course, Metaplanet. And, you know, out of the top 20, USA has 18 of the 20. So just a quick notable there. But yeah, again, I thought this was cool information to track. Feedback, like I said, always appreciated. And the source of this is bitcointreasuries.net, which I do have up. So if you are curious, they have the top 100. Again, I'm not going to go through 100, but I figure the top 20 is important. GameStop, man, they may pop in the top 20 at some point. They're at number 22. So that's something to think about. And then, you know, any other notables? Again, I'm just going to skim through people you guys might know. Who else is a Bitcoin treasury company? Who else are these suckers? Nothing. Rumble. Rumble's? No, that's a Canada. That's a Canada. See, this is where you see the other countries getting involved towards, you know, the later rankings. But again, the American companies are 18 of the top 20. So something to note right there. Okay. All right. And then I don't know why it's stored here, but MNAV should probably be its own tab. But, you know, I still, you know, the MNAV is a bait, you know, I guess it's a way to see if a Bitcoin treasury is a buying opportunity. So think of like the lower numbers as a discount, the higher numbers as expensive. All right, because we're about to get into some MNAV numbers. But for now, I do have a tab of preferred stocks. Now, again, this is going to be like somewhat of the watch list of these are the preferred stocks that basically they pay out a yield, and they're Bitcoin treasury companies, right? So again, I'm going to start to research more and add more as I understand them and hear about them. But I'll be honest, I only own these two, STRC and SATA. I have no desire to buy the other three from MSTR. But however, never say never, right? And there may be some others, like maybe Mara offers one. I haven't heard of it. I'm sure I would have if they did, but maybe they do. I don't know. Again, that's something we need to look into. This is the beginning of the Orange series. I plan on having this series for quite some time because there is so much to learn about Bitcoin. In fact, I was originally planning on reading the one page from my Bitcoin book on the show, but I thought that would be horrible. You guys would just turn off the channel because, you know, who the hell wants to hear me reading? But it was just a thought, feedback. Like I said, you guys got to give me some damn feedback. All right. All right. Sergio says, by the way, Sergio has been, I've seen him on all the channels too. So shout out to him for being consistent, showing up day in and day out. The biggest threat to crypto right now is quantum computing and encryption. That is why ramp up an investment now. Okay. Well, is it true that Fidelity also mines BTC? I have no freaking idea. Good morning, LA. LA is not from LA. Well, he's from Lower Alabama. All right. Let's see. I don't really invest in crypto bag holder companies unless it's STRC from Strategy. Yeah, me too. STRC, baby. But there's a lot to learn on Strive. Again, it's hard to really trust anyone but MSTR, but I really think Strive is like the number two, right? That's how I feel. I don't know. I've been listening to a couple videos here and there, but I'm starting to give them some faith. But what's the book? I have it right here. Obviously, I'm not sharing my video, but it's called The Bitcoin Standard. I was told to buy this. The Decentralized Alternatives to Central Banking. All right, that's the book. I bought it. I have not opened it. I hate reading, but I bought it to force myself to read, and I have not begun that adventure. All right, let's move on to the next tab. Now we're going to look at the daily change. Again, I think this is important information too. You can see the Bitcoin price. In case you're wondering if you use Google Finance, there is a formula for Bitcoin. You can't pull the daily change because, again, they're not like the stock market. They're live 24/7. So you can't get historical daily changes, but what you can get is the current values, and that's equals Google Finance, parentheses, and then you type in BTC-USD essentially, and that would give you the current price. All right, moving along. So what do I do here? I track the supply of Bitcoin. So I go to CoinMarketCap and I go to circulating supply, right? And it says the CoinMarketCap theme is verified, the project's circulating supply. Okay. And this is the amount of coins that are in circulation in the market, right? In public hands, essentially. So the reason we want to track that, we want to see like how much Bitcoin is not in circulation, right? And that's what I'm tracking here. And I'm showing 1,018,338, 4.85% left. That is not in circulation. And then the next question is, what happens when all of the Bitcoin is in circulation? What happens then? The buying and selling, you're relying on a seller to buy, to buy the Bitcoin from? Like, is it going to be, true supply and demand, like the stock market? Like, what's going to happen, right? I mean, we are far from there. It's going to take a while to, I guess, mine all that Bitcoin, buy that Bitcoin, because Bitcoin's, outside of last year, it really has been growing almost every year, right? But anyway, I thought that was a cool notable. So the supply change, there's 2,719 additional now in circulation, if that makes sense. Now, as far as MSTR, they own a lot of Bitcoin, obviously. They bought more. We saw that change under the Treasury Company tab, but we also track it here ourselves, and this does, FYI, match to their website. So we did double check their data. They bought an additional 2,932 since last week. So they now hold 712,647, which again is insane. Their MNAV did drop from 107 to 105. And as we mentioned before, 105, that's cheap. That's within this range, attractive entry, historical 500-day average, blah, 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 blah. So again, is it worth it? That's up to you, man. I'm just reading, based on what I'm seeing. But the MNAV change it went down 2%. Now, if we look at MSTR price over this past week, again, ignore the gigantic 50%. This is just from the last time I tracked it. You guys saw that from the prior week, right? But the MSTR price, it did go down 3.27%. I know, shocking, right? MSTR went down. But again, that's the weekly change, from when we started this last week. STRC, their preferred stock, that went down 0.5%. Okay, if you care. Now let's check out ASST. Now they are a Bitcoin treasury company, aka Strive. They bought more Bitcoin. We don't have do we have the number change over here? We have the percent change. I guess I should put the not the percent. I should do the number of Bitcoin. Yeah. And then we'll shrink that. All right. So they bought 334 Bitcoin, again, versus like MSTR's bought 2,932. Let me drag this down too. I gotta use my mouse. Actually, see, this is where you got to have the formulas. So, all right, you can see me type of the formula. All right, so we're going to do equals if, open parentheses, if this, Scuba Steve, damn you. All right. If N41 equals blank, comma, blank. If not, boom. Sound good? There you go. And that way, instead of showing the 0, which is annoying to look at, you just see a blank cell. All right, some Google Sheets 101 there. Happy to do a whole video on Google Sheets, by the way, if you guys want. Okay, so that's far enough. All right, let's keep going. Let's keep this video moving here. All right, the MNAV dropped 2%. Again, let's compare that to the MNAV on MSTR. They dropped the same amount. The MNAV is a little higher on ASST than it is on MSTR. Now, as far as ASST, I thought this was interesting. ASST, they went down from 89 cents to 80 cents in 1 week. They went down 10%. MSTR went down 3%. Again, they both have the same, it's the same type of thing. It's a Bitcoin treasury company that their goal is the same for the most part, right? But we'll get into that too at some point. But again, that's a big drop compared to MSTR. So why would ASST, and plus, didn't they do a reverse split? When the heck is a reverse split? What is am I having? Can you guys hear me? Rod is having technical problems this morning, fighting with his keyboard mouse. Oh, you're talking about, all right, from the scrolling before. All right. Yeah, let me know if the audio works, by the way. Now you're scaring me. All right, SATA, this is their preferred. Again, we can compare SATA to STRC. STRC went down 0.5%, but SATA went down 2.2. So, again, maybe it's a little underappreciated versus the other ones, but I'm not expecting SATA and STRC to move together, but I'm thinking ASST and MSTR price shift should be similar. I don't know. That's just my thought. All right, moving on to my holdings. Again, if you guys care, this is what I own right now in the various companies. What I do, like I said, I have a Robinhood account and I set auto buys for purchasing $10 Bitcoin, $10 MSTR, $10 STRC, $10 ASST, $10 SATA. And that happens on a daily basis. Obviously, Bitcoin is 7 days a week because it's always open. It's always moving. The other 4 are 5 days a week when the stock market's open. All right. Now, you can see, oh, yeah, my Bitcoin value. Wow. Yeah, it actually went down because Bitcoin went down. But you could see the decimal places. I gained 0.0007 additional Bitcoin from last week. I did not make any different type of purchase. I just had the auto buys. MSTR, obviously, from 10.58 to 10.89, nothing fantastic there. STRC, again, slow movement, boring. I get it, but it's going up. ASST, I almost have 100 shares, but ASST is so damn cheap. But so hopefully this will grow in time. And then SATA, yeah, we're getting there. I know. Work in progress. The value, again, assuming this is right, because my Robinhood account had a different number, almost $1,000 difference, but this is showing to be slightly up in value. But whatever, man, it is what it is. We'll get there. Payouts, no change in that, but I will track my dividends that I get from STRC. You can see I got $10 in January. I'm about to get $14.43 in the month of February. I don't know if I qualify for a SATA dividend, but if I do, I'll log that here. And then what bill does this pay? We'll have fun with that. And we'll log into, okay, what can I pay? Because eventually this is going to be another account that I could live off of, right? And it's going to help pay my lifestyle when I can, leave my full-time job. I don't have to rely on that. I can live off options income. I can live off the distributions from maybe some high yield ETFs, and then I could live off the dividends on these preferred stocks. But to be seen, right? One thing I started to work on is researching the Strive team. So far, I just got the names. Matt Cole is a notable. He's on YouTube with a lot of people on a lot of interviews. So you'll know his face if you look him up. I don't really know any of these other people, but I do know they purchased True North, and I know that company. They were just like a media company. They weren't even that big. I don't know. Maybe they were, but I thought that was interesting because I know there's one guy that I was going to interview on Twitter. I think his name's Nathan or something. I think he works there. So I don't know. So I thought that was interesting that they purchased True North. Why doesn't someone purchase ROD? Right? Why not? Am I not valuable enough? Huh? Anyway, so that's it. That is the update, right? I do have like the MSTR website. You know, again, this is where I get my information. You could see, obviously, this is where they hold. You know, if you want to go double check the numbers yourself, this is where you can go. Strive, same thing. Strive has like a similar layout. Are they a copycat? I don't know. Sure, but whatever. It is what it is. I think we're going to see more and more companies like this in the future. And again, they're going to be acting like banks in a way, offering the financial instruments called the preferred stocks that will pay you. Like Strives pays what? Is it under credit? You know, Strives pays 12%. Like 12%? Are you crazy? Like you go to your bank, your savings account. Oh my God. Like, what is the point? What is the point of having a savings account? Why? Why would anyone have a savings account? I have one though. I ask myself that every day. There's not much in it, but it's just there to help the checking, right? If needed. But again, I'm going to close it, right? There's no point to it. You might as well keep it in STRC or SATA, right? 10% is greater than the pathetic percent that you're getting in your savings account. But of course, if people don't trust Bitcoin, then you might as well just forget that. If people trust Bitcoin, but they don't trust MSTR or Strive, then again, forget it. So there's a long way to go for them to build out some trust with that whole thing. But yeah, man, it's gonna be fun, and that's why I wanted to create this episode to kind of track all this, because I think this is fun. I think this is good information, and I'm happy to share it because I'm interested in reviewing it, going through it, and things like that. I got a lot of good feedback last week. People were excited about this new series, but yeah. Please let me know in the comments below if I'm missing like maybe an important piece of information that could be relative to the Orange series. Again, I hate interviewing people lately. It's nice to have the break, but I got to be honest, as part of the Orange series, I would like to interview some people who are, we'll call the Bitcoin pros, and, see what they have to say. Maybe even like the Strive guy, right? Matt Cole. Obviously, there's no way I'm getting what's his face on Sailor, right? So I'm not even going to talk about that. But Matt Cole, maybe, because I've seen him go on some small channels. So something like that. But obviously, I kind of have to be prepared. I'm never prepared on interviews. I just wing it. But for that interview, I may have to do a little research or get a tag along, right? But yeah, so that's the future of this series. Again, if you guys have any comments, let me know. Let's see. Slow and steady wins the race. That's for sure. I am slow and steady. I'm building my crypto account so I can transfer it to my kids later on as a legacy. Hopefully they can buy some food with it. Yeah, I'm just buying in their own account like iBit, and hopefully it grows in due time. Obviously, when I croak and me and my wife croak, they'll get everything anyway. Will there be any Bitcoin left? Who the hell knows? I gotta let this freaking dog out. Okay, let's see. That's what paid sponsorship. Nope, no paid sponsorship today. All right, Rod, have you looked into staking reward program from Robinhood and Coinbase regarding crypto? I don't, as far as I know, you can't stake Bitcoin on Robinhood unless you heard otherwise, but I don't think you can. Every other crypto, I believe you can. All right. Let's see. Staking is good on Coinbase. They pay pretty good. But they don't stake Bitcoin, right, Bruce? All right. Yeah, so that's it. We're 51 minutes in, man. Wow, that went fast. Yeah, suggestions on episode 3's topic. Let me know. I don't know. I don't have a plan. I really don't. I just have to think about it. I should probably be logging what I'm doing so I remember. But so this will be the series. And then episode. What was the first episode? Intro? One episode, what we could do, I could just open it to the floor and have some of you Bitcoiners on just to give your thoughts on Bitcoin. I don't know if that would interest any of you guys. All right, episode, let's see. And then topic. So yeah, episode 1 was intro. This episode was history of Bitcoin. So yeah, if you guys have any ideas, we'll add the ideas to the we'll say the idea bucket over here. All right. So we'll make a little idea bucket. Idea bucket. Let me know, for those of you that are live, what you want to put in the idea bucket. Are there topics that you want me to cover? Let me know. Let me know. All right, we'll center that up, make it look nice and pretty, and we'll throw some ideas in here. All right. Can't stake BTC. Yeah. No, I don't buy any others. I just buy Bitcoin, though. Exactly, an orange round table. And we'll just get different thoughts, even the thoughts of why we should not buy Bitcoin, if anyone wants to do that argument, right? Because again, I am not the one to argue to buy Bitcoin. I don't give two craps if people buy Bitcoin. I don't give two craps if people sell their Bitcoin, right? I'm not one of those, hodl Bitcoiner, like you got to buy, hold. Yeah. You got to put in a hard wallet. Yeah. No, I'm not that. I won't be that. I'm simply in Bitcoin to make money. All right. Just like everything else. I'm not falling in love with any investment. I'm making money off of it. That is the whole purpose. I don't give to, if Bitcoin goes to 1 million tomorrow, you can peace out, Bitcoin. Hell yeah, I'd be selling my Bitcoin. Peace. There is nothing. Will I continue the daily buys? Yeah, I would. I probably would. But I'll be cashing out some. You damn sure I will be. All right, let's see. Rod, you should open up the series to all crypto. No, I mean, that could be an episode. All right, so how about this? How about I'll put shit coins. That'll be a topic. And yes, they are called shit coins. All right. Anyway. So what else? Just shit coins? Countries that mine BTC and are Bitcoin friendly. Country stance, something like that. That's going to involve some work. You're really giving me some homework here. All right. Anything else? We got 157 of you between YouTube and X. Again, it's a new series, so not big turnout from the usual series, but appreciate you all being here. I think this will grow in time. Nobody wants to click an orange thumbnail, right? I did add the Bitcoin logo. I'm not sure if you guys saw that. My plan was to add a little logo or a little something to it each week. So I don't know. We'll see. We'll see what I add next. All right. Anything else, ladies and gentlemen? Or shall we close it out? Should we play some? Should we play the song? I know Sergio wants to hear it. I did not actually prep for the song, but I can. All right, yeah, I'm just finding a video. Sorry, I should have pulled it up on here. Yeah, where you guys at? Good topic. All coins are definitely the shitter. I think the word of the day should be shit coins. LA's out of here. See you later, LA. All right. I'm just looking up old videos. Again, I guess I'll pull up an old video again and we'll call it quits. Play the song. What do we want to do? What do you do? What do you say? Oh, a reverse split 6 years ago. 8. Yeah. Landa. Don't chase yield. Look at that. 401k. yeah, 401k. There you go. Well, that's when I had the basketball hoop. All right. Everyone's leaving. All right. Don't miss out. We're going to play some music. All right. Before we play the music, as always, this is fun. This is not financial advice. I am not a financial advisor, and this video is for fun and entertainment. So hopefully you had fun. Hopefully you're entertained. If not, come back next time. All right. Next time we'll be here. We're talking about orange every Thursday. It's Orange Thursdays. And again, topics are welcome. Feedback is welcome. This, that, and the other thing. In the meantime, you guys can think of a keyword while I hit play. And we play our favorite song, R to the O to the D. And then we'll go over the keyword. And then we'll say, have fun at work. All right. Here we go.
Ooh. Yeah. Good morning, friends. R to the O to the D. Retire on dividends, you know me. Cash flow mindset moving differently. Numbers don't lie, plans stay ready. If you want that life, say freedom with me. R to the O to the D. Retire on dividends, you know me. Built, not sold, yeah, intentionally. No hype talk, just clarity. If you want that life, say freedom with me. Mid-40s, married man, house stay loud. Raising up boys, turning boys into men. New puppy running, chaos around. Still clocking in, but he plotting the end. Giants fan scars, yeah, he wear that pain. Smiles through the losses like part of the game. Never throw shots, never talks that mess. Yeah, builds people up, less results address. Yeah, streams every day, never missing a beat. YouTube live X when the mic get heat. Not selling dreams, just showing the math. Wins and drawdowns, full on his past. Spreadsheet brain with a streetwise frame. Plays of discipline, never chasing fame. R to the O to the D. Retire on dividends, you know me. Cash flow mindset moving differently. Numbers don't lie, plans stay ready. If you want that life, say freedom with me. Yeah. Options on screen, risk handle precise. Structures built calm, every move got a price. Cover calls roll, protection in place. Time on his side, patience setting the pace. They say slow down, he say stay exact. Same palm tone when the market snap. Runs through mud just to test that will. Same mindset when the chart goes still. Sings on the post, crowd laugh, he grin. Go dig a hook, but the lesson still win. Movie quotes fly, wrestling frame. Serious work, but he keep it light, man. R to the O to the D. Retire on dividends, you know me. Cash flow mindset, moving differently. Numbers don't lie, plans stay ready. If you want that life, say freedom with me. If you want that life, say freedom with me. This was for fun and entertainment purposes. I hope you have fun and were entertained. And if not, I'll do better next time. And if you made it this far, and you want to make sure everybody knows, you got to say.
All right. The keyword today, since brother is the only one not lazy today and actually gave me a keyword, the keyword is high C. So if you made it this far in the video and you would like to prove it, the keyword today is high C. Sergio, that's probably going to be maybe the next keyword. I like that as a keyword too. But for now, since this series is called Orange, people are thinking of high C. Maybe they get thirsty. They want some high C. I don't know. They still even make that. But yeah, so if you made it this far in the video, you got to prove it to myself and all the other suckers here. And you got to type it in the comments after this video loads, whether you're watching on Twitter or X or YouTube, doesn't matter. You got to type in the comments, and that way we know you made it. And that way I could say, oh, thank you. Thank you very much. Actually, I should start saying thank you. That reminds me. If you say the keyword, I'm going to say thank you. Deal? All right. I won't be a lazy ass. All right. I'm out of here. Time to get to work. Thank you for watching, and have a great day. Later.